What's going on, you guys? My name's Ty Knots and welcome to Top 5 Unknowns. 5 creepiest things Redditors ever saw. Number 5. My parents bought their first house back in 1972. It was a fixer-upper, but they decided to move in right away and fix things as time and money permitted. Within just a few days of moving in, the new neighbors came over to introduce themselves. They also let my parents know that the previous owners had moved out after a nasty divorce. They'd lost their second baby from SIDS and the relationship went downhill from there. My parents were horrified, more so because they were newly pregnant and couldn't imagine going through such a thing. They eventually pretty much forgot all about it and life went on. They were in love with their new house and with their new life. In preparation for their new baby, they decided to wallpaper the nursery. Now, my dad told my mom that there was no need in wallpapering the inside of the closet, but she insisted. She was kneeling down, scraping old paint off the inside of the closet when her eyes fell upon something that made her blood turn to ice. Written in crayon at about eye level for a kindergartner, in childish handwriting was the phrase, "I killed the baby." Number 4. When this woman was a young girl, about 8 years old, she started to come downstairs at night to tell her father that there was a man in her closet. He tells her that there's no such thing as the boogeyman and sends her back to bed. This happened on and off for about a week when finally he got frustrated and walked her to the bedroom and says, "I'll show you there's nothing in the closet," and went to open the door. But just as he reached for it, he felt someone pull it shut. It turns out there really was a man in her closet. This guy would come into the house every night and stare at the girl from the closet while she slept. The dad kicked the crap out of him and the guy went to prison for many years. I researched her story after this and the guy's just gotten out of jail again and no one can find him. Number 3. We moved into a new house a few months ago. As we were in the process of purchasing the house, the renter who was living in it died unexpectedly of natural causes in his mid-40s. He died right in the middle of the living room. Shortly after, we moved into the house, and almost immediately, our 2-year-old daughter starts talking about ghosts that live in the house. Now, to be real, she's 2 years old and very impressionable. Halloween had just recently passed, and she had this Halloween-themed picture book that she really loved, so it's entirely possible that all this talk of ghosts was coming from something in that book that she read on a regular basis. Still, she's always telling me that there was a ghost in her playhouse in the basement, or that the ghost was on the stairs, or that he was standing in the corner. She never seemed to be afraid of the ghost and considered him to be her friend, so I wasn't all that concerned even if there really was a ghost haunting our house. If he's a nice and helpful ghost, it could certainly be a lot worse. I would often tell the ghost that he was welcome to stay if he wanted to, but he was also welcome to go if that would make him happier. I was about 70-30 on the ghost being real, and that she could see and talk to him versus the ghost just being in her imagination fueled by a Halloween book. That is, until one day when we were going out to the car to take her to daycare. It was still dark out and very rainy. My daughter told me that the ghost was on the back deck and asked that we sing him happy birthday as it was his birthday. Once again, I mostly disregarded what she was saying as she's birthday obsessed and has in the past made us sing happy birthday to Mickey Mouse, a bowl of fruit snacks, and even the bathroom. So we sang and wished the ghost a happy birthday and went on with our lives. But later that day, out of pure curiosity, I looked up the obituary of the man that had died in our house, and wouldn't you know it, today was his birthday. Number 2. When I was about 10 or 11, we were having a get-together at my grandma's house for the holidays. All of us cousins played all day, and when night fell, we played hide-and-seek outside while the adults smoked and drank up by the back porch. I was hiding in between a bush and the property fence when I heard the strangest sound. It was almost a scream, but sounded both happy and miserable at the same time. I jumped up and kind of shouted, and all of my cousins heard it. We all saw it too. It was an animal on 2 legs, and it ran off with strange jerky motions. Being the oldest by about 3 years, I calmed down the crying little ones and explained the best I could that it was just someone trying to scare us. I've had nightmares about that sound. In my mind, it seems like some grotesque mimicry of our joyous screams and laughter as we played. None of my cousins to this day will admit to even remembering the incident, although all of the adults remember the commotion it caused. Number 1. I went outside early one morning and saw this woman kneeling in my mother's flower garden. I was a little sketched out. I was about 10 years old and a person I didn't know was just sitting in her garden. Not knowing what to do, I just said hello to her. She turned around and immediately apologized for being in the yard and said that we had such nice flowers and that she couldn't help it. Then she walked away. I thought it was cute and didn't think anything more of it and went about my day. My mom and dad left to do errands and my brother and I were home alone. We were watching TV when without any warning someone taps me on my shoulder. I freak out and turn around and the same woman is standing right behind us. She apologized immensely and then asked where my parents were. I told her that they would be back any time but that she really shouldn't be coming into people's houses. She agreed and asked for a pen and paper so that she could write them a note. I complied and told her to do it out in the dining room. I peered from behind the corner in my hallway and never let her out of my sight. I was beyond afraid. She calmly set the pen down, shouted thank you from the dining room, and then just walked out the door. I bolted to the window to make sure that she was gone and then bolted the door and locked it. I then nervously and very slowly approached the note that she left on the table. I read it and was completely dumbfounded. She said that she believed God spoke to her in the garden and told her to build an altar to my grandmother. The note was her scheduling an appointment with my mother to discuss placing a tombstone or a prayer table or something in the garden. My parents got home and I freaked out. I told my mom that she had to talk to this woman. She left her phone number on the note and my mom took off the day from work and sat outside on the front porch waiting for the woman to arrive. But she never showed up. My mom called the number on the note only to get a disconnected message. The only proof I had that any of this stuff was happening was the note that she left. My mom and dad didn't believe most of the story and it seems even my brother forgot about it, but I know it happened. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to click that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep updated with our videos.